This is our news, the weekend edition, and on the broadcast tonight. A former PLP cabinet minister says the Christie administration is not to blame for the country's recent blacklisting. This, as the DNA interim leader says government doesn't appear to be taking that blacklisting by the European Union serious. And the University of the Bahamas inks a partnership with the container port.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Knowles, and thanks for joining us. Almost 2 weeks after the Bahamas was blacklisted by the European Union, the former Minister of State is defending the former administration against claims that they are responsible. Giorgio Bain tells us more.
According to Damian Gomez, the Minister administration must stop playing the blame game and accept that it is responsible for what happens in this country. While addressing the House of Assembly, Financial Services Minister Brent Simonet said that members of the Christie administration dragged their feet with important deadlines imposed by the European Union, which he attributed to the Bahamas being blacklisted last week. But according to former Minister of State for Legal Affairs Damian Gomez, this administration chose to take an extended summer break instead of focusing on pressing issues.
This administration has been in office since May of last year. It chose to take an extended summer vacation. It chose its priorities. Those priorities did not include ensuring that we were not blacklisted. They must take full responsibility for being the government of the Bahamas, and it's high time that they do so, particularly in relation to matters which concern the health and well-being of the financial services sector. I'm just surprised that they could be that irresponsible.
Despite taking a trip days ahead of the blacklisting, Gomez insisted that nothing was done to prevent it by this administration, except wasting taxpayers' money on the trip.
Clearly nothing was done. In fact, they carelessly expended sums of taxpayers' monies on a trip which turned out to be completely useless. It appears that no prior arrangements were made before they left, so that this just demonstrates the level of incompetence that is, quite frankly, startling.
According to Gomez, moving forward, this administration needs to stop playing politics and instead pay attention to good governance.
They need to pay attention, and they need to do those things which governments do. Rather than attempt to fire persons for political reasons, they ought to be ensuring that all civil servants who are in the payroll act with loyalty to the government and protect the interests of Bahamians. We are no longer in the political campaign mode. We should be governing.
Reporting for our news, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Meantime, Democratic National Alliance interim leader Chris Mortimer says it feels as though the government isn't taking that European Union blacklisting seriously. According to Mortimer, the back-and-forth blame game by the current and former administration proves that they are cut from the same cloth.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it worked the first month, the third month, the sixth month, and every other month in between. We are now almost a year. The current government needs to take advantage that this is now their baby. This is in their court. We don't care what the PLP did or the mistakes that they made. We're talking about what you have done and what you are going to continue to do to make sure that the Bahamian people are satisfied that you're doing a good job for them.
Mortimer is calling for the government to take a firm stance against the EU and not just lay down every time they make a demand.
And not just lay down every time they tell us to jump or how high and we jump. Those days are over. We are a sovereign country. We have people to think about. We have a country to think about. We have industries to protect and build and grow. We want to be a respected partner on the international stage, but we won't be that if we are not prepared to, one, act in accordance with international standards, while at the same time being cognizant of the fact that at times it requires us to have backbone and say, no, we're not going to do that because it's not in the best interest of our own industries, our own development. And I think those countries understand that. And I think the government should get that message.
Mortimer's final plea on this subject was for the Minnis administration to prove naysayers wrong and not to be like the former administration.
Myself, the DNA, and every right-thinking Bahamian are tired when we hear it's because the PLP did it. That's why they were voted out. The question now is, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to protect our industries from this unscrupulous effort by the European Union? What are you going to do to make sure that our industries survive? That's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear about the former administration. We're sick and tired of it. If we wanted sick and tired governance, we would have kept the PLP.
Well, from the crime beat, police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the discovery of a man's body floating in waters just west of Potters Key Dock yesterday. Police believe it is the body of the man who went missing on Wednesday while diving in waters at Potters Key. It was shortly after 2 p.m. Friday when officers responded and retrieved the body from the water. The man was reportedly wearing black trousers. EMS personnel responded to the scene and pronounced him dead. Foul play is not suspected in the matter, and investigations continue. Meantime, police are requesting your assistance in locating a wanted man in connection with murder. Officers are looking for Lorenzo Roll of Minnie Street. Roll is of dark brown complexion, medium build, and stands between 5'6" and 5'9". Now, anyone with information as to the whereabouts of the suspect is asked to contact police. And police also need your assistance in locating this missing elderly woman. She's 84-year-old Angela Turnquest, a resident of the Persis Rogers home on Oaksfield. Turnquest has been reportedly missing since Sunday. She is described to have light brown complexion, of medium build, and stands about 5 feet 1 inch tall. Once again, anyone who might have seen Turnquest is asked to contact police. Still to come on our news, the Arawak Port Development and the University of the Bahamas forge a partnership. We'll tell you all about it when our news returns.